And we are live, are we?
Welcome.
Can you guys hear us good? Should we be closer? Because I'm doing it with my phone right now. See? Also the music. How is the sound with the music? I'm going to read their comments here. Yeah, but they're saying that without the music it's probably better, but then without the music there's no vibe. We just need a little bit of the vibe here.
Absolutely.
You can hear us well through the music, yes? Okay, yeah, they can hear us well.
Perfect.
So, you guys were in a little bit of a frenzy because our friends, okay, first of all, what are we doing here? It's my birthday tomorrow.
Yes.
And Thomas is one of my incredible new friends here in Tallinn, and he has a podcast.
Yes.
And Thomas has been wanting to interview me for his podcast.
Yes. Yes, we are doing a Deep Secrets show, and as I already interviewed Curly in one of the online conferences for youth people in Estonia, we got into this interaction of going really fully deep in learning what's life and what's the real secrets how to be in a harmony, in a balance in your life. And we only got to do half an hour, and the topics were a little bit, let's say, bubblish, because it's not that easy to talk about topics for like very young children. But today we're going into a whole new, let's say, dimension, yes, world, to see how we are feeling today and sharing what we have learned in recent times.
Yeah, and I was also thinking, since Thomas wanted to do this for his thing, and it's my birthday tomorrow, and I thought, I haven't done or tried to do live for a while, haven't really made too many posts, been in my creative cocoon, guys. We thought we'd just kind of like combine, put the two and two together, and just kind of like both win. Thomas is a really interesting person, so he'll ask some interesting questions. Meanwhile, our friends are setting up the dinner and hanging out. You can hear them over here. We're just having a small gathering. And what else did I want to say?
So we do everything like on spot, on time, and really enjoying the vibe. And any feedback is welcome. Kelly will check it, and we'll just go with the flow, because life is a flow, and we are.
I like that. Yeah, because I was getting like a little tense when you guys like got stuck in a snowstorm. So I already like poured us a glass of white wine.
Oh,
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, terviseks in Estonian. And we're gonna be here hanging out for a while until our close friends arrive. And I'm gonna be looking at your questions kind of sporadically. So be taking some questions, but other than that, we'll just be having like a vibe conversation with Thomas. Okay, first of all, let me light the ceremonial birthday candles. Look, I had this really dope candle holder, which I got from Sõbrale in Estonia. No, this isn't this.
I love this one.
No, it was actually really dope, and it cost €3, and I was like, the find of the year, And I was setting the table earlier, and it broke. So but I have no candle holder, so I had to kind of like, how to say in Estonian, we say make stuff out of sita ja tatt. Sita ja tatti ja kleebi.
We can't say it in English, we're gonna be banned.
You make it out of your shit and saliva and put it all together in a duct tape. So basically these are bricks that I got from the south of Estonia. I took bricks with me. Really? So yeah, and my whole family was giving me shit. They're like, why are you taking bricks? And I'm like,
I'm gonna make art.
That's why. I mean, sometimes we need to like secure lights when you're doing photo shoots or like whatever, but like today, this is gonna serve as the birthday candle holder. Yes.
Thank you, Light. Thank you, Light.
Yeah, and me and Thomas, we deliberately didn't, I didn't want to like kind of prep any kind of topics or any questions, because last time when we did it for the youth conference, we got together and we had the best conversation ever, and then we got on camera and we kind of like already talked about everything, and we were just like touching on things, and I felt like it was like not on the level.
Keep the vibe,
Yeah.
But in the same time, she was one of the most favorite in the whole times, because she was herself in her beautiful white dress, fully looking like a princess, not like
Queen.
but queen and princess in both ways.
So
Because
every time the men go like princess, I'm like queen. Honey.
yeah, but you could,
Queen, don't get it twisted.
Okay, let's
Do not
make
get
it
it twisted.
Yes, let's do it, queen way. I love it. Yes. So when you call me king. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I feel like to call a man anything less than that, then you just wouldn't even call him anything, because you call him a knight. I actually just read a really, really amazing, interesting book by Alison Armstrong. I think it was called The Amazing Development of Men, and it was kind of about all the different stages. Can somebody kill that light in the hallway? It's killing my vibe.
Very straightforward.
She's
I love it.
Thank you. And it was about like all the different stages of the man's development, from a knight to a prince to a king, and how they behave, and how like as their women, we should behave towards them, where we need to kind of like tighten it, where we need to loosen it, where we need to understand, where we need to kind of ask for less of their time, where we need to be more appreciative. So all of that. And it was like, the knights are all about adventure, and the princes are all about like doing the work. So there's like a 15-year-old period in a man's life where they're just working on their thing, and then ultimately they'll cross over to a king where they don't like need to prove anything to anyone anymore. So it's fascinating.
And you're feeling that you've leveled up in the section where you don't need to act in a way of receiving any feedback. You're just giving out the pure love of what you do, what you think, and it's just like.
Yeah, you know what? It's actually something that I've really been working on like a lot when I went to the nature, to live in the nature, because I came from this like music business environment where, you know, it was about like somebody would look at your numbers and kind of your life would depend on it and like whatever. And I was like really young when I got into the game, and I didn't really have like any strong guidance or like, you know. So yeah, I at some point just got like really burnt out on that mindset. And then when I went to the forest, actually the first layer of shit that I dealt with, you know, because I think that like, you know, life is not so much about like becoming something, but it's becoming less of what you're not. So it's like, yeah, because you just accumulate the conditioning, you know, by your family, by school, by society, by like everything that you see in the news, which is like very deliberately programmed, not for your highest embodiment to emerge, but to kind of like keep you small, right? And so one of the deepest layers that I had to like let go of and shed was the fear of failure, because I felt like, oh, look at me, like now I'm giving up like this beautiful house that I lived in Hollywood Hills, and I look at the Hollywood sign with the palm trees, and it's just like, life was kind of looking very nice from the outside, but it was like very not nice on the inside and inside myself, you know. And so like when I went to the forest, I felt like everybody was going to see me as like such a failure. And obviously the world outside doesn't really exist, right? The world outside is kind of just like a mirror. So that was like one of the biggest layers that I started, or the first thick layer of shit that I had accumulated was to kind of like get rid of that whole thing. Like, I don't need to earn anybody's love. I don't need to earn anybody's approval, you know. I'm good just the way I am, just because I was born, you know. And I was so tired that I felt like I just, you know, I can't give anymore. And I had to make peace with the fact that if I don't give anymore, if I don't make anything, then I'm still super valuable. And also, I started learning about kind of like female energy and male energy, right? Because I was in like a heavy male energy, the go, 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 go. That's male energy. So to go into the female energy where you're like soft and like you go to the woods and you're like, you look at the nature and you're enjoying and you're like feeling things in your body and like all of this whole totally different energy. Yeah, I mean there's a lot that happened. I mean, we could make like a whole episode about it.
Or write a book.
Yeah. Well, I wrote a book a little bit about it. Haavoitu Jumalan paranemisesta. Yeah.
It was.
But it wasn't so much of a spiritual book. It was more like a
experiencing.
Like a how to get over a breakup. Yeah. How to be a bad bitch. It said from a doormat to a goddess in 30 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see.
30 days, wow. Yeah, please give us your questions, ideas, feedback. We definitely can't see all of them, but we'll take a look, and if we spot, it's the like a bingo motto. It's like on spot, and then if this is the right moment, the momentum, then it will happen. And yeah, this is how life goes. Sometimes you are spotted by someone who brings you another person or brings you another topic or a work, a job, and then you.
Somebody's saying my birthday is coincident with the Lunar New Year here.
Ooh.
Is it what's the Lunar New Year? That's not the Chinese New Year, huh?
Ah, Chinese can be
Or
as
what?
well, yes. Chinese, yeah.
Or what is a Lunar New Year?
Yeah, Chinese is one with
It does sound like someone is shuffling by the mic at times, so it's making you... Ärge siis siin selle mikri ümber nagu... Üritage naisa vaiksemalt olla.
ma arvan, võib-olla maybe I
Mitte meie mikrid,
okay.
vaid see.
The live, okay.
Yeah. I'm reading. See.
So yeah, Kelly's home is such an adorable place. It's an old town's, I could say, in top 3 best view. So from the big, how you call it in English? It's a special window in this kind of house. So in the medieval times, we're in the medieval Tallinn, being built in 12th century till up to 15th, 16th, 17th century. And then there was this house where you had to different layers of housekeepings, and then if you wanted to have water or grain up in the living rooms, then you had to just like with a rope get it on top, and then you had this whole system in here, and that's why it has brilliant big windows in the autumn, because normally they are very tight to keep the balance of the heat and cold. Yeah.
I have to make a whole separate kind of house tour.
Oh yeah,
because you can't do everything.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, the old town is really interesting because there's no traveling this year. So I was thinking, what would be the absolute like most amazing vibe that I could create with the means? And I just think that old town and nature, these are kind of like our treasures, right? Tallinn old town and Estonian nature. These are the two things, right? That you would do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. And this house is very, very special. It was built in 1303.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 1303.
So that's a very long time ago, and still everything is up smoothly, and can't say that.
Yeah.
You can say that. It's still.
It is up, but they're renovating the apartment next door, and they're saying that all those old. You see those beams? So they're saying that kind of like all the beams inside the walls need work. So.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, it has a complex part of living in a old town. But yeah, the view is beautiful. It's just on the spot of all the homes are great Estonian old school, let's say, medieval restaurant with a very creative experience of dining, and yeah, it's the like kind of the main hub of.
No, I
town.
can't talk about where I live like that.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Never mind.
Okay, I mean,
Everybody's
it is what it is because there's a
Yes,
lot of houses
yes,
around here,
yes,
but like, okay.
true, yes.
Yeah. Got it, yeah.
I got my learning.
Come on!
I got my
I
learning.
know, I always
got
tell
my learning.
people when we're talking about my country house and they're like, yeah, you live like, and I'm like, you want to maybe tweet that? Let me see. They're saying, love the history lesson. Is it haunted? Fun fact. I have not experienced any ghosts over here. I've experienced really good vibes. Like instantly when I walked in, I was like, I felt really good here. But I actually have a cat here.
Oh really?
You can't see the cat because I got it from shelter rescue.
Yeah. Wow.
And so what I'm doing is I'm giving like not like a real home, but kind of the in between homes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of like I told them, you know, at some point I'm gonna like leave this place, I'm gonna go traveling or something, but I can just give like a temporary home because I didn't want to take my own cats because I didn't want to take them away from the nature, you know. It's kind of like dreaming about it a little bit, thinking about it, but then it's like I looked at like my cat Velour just eating like a big rat in the south, and I was like, I have nothing to offer. I have nothing to offer in the city. But I just really felt like, you know, I love animals, and I just felt like, oh, animals. I need an animal here, you know. And I have these birds that fly in here.
Oh,
They
really?
live on the ledges, the doves.
Oh,
Yeah. But you know, I was like, okay, I'll get a cat. So I got this one cat here, and it's a super traumatized cat. It's afraid of people. I don't know what was done to it, but it's constantly hiding, so in these spots. And my friend was sleeping over my house last week when I was in the south, and my friend is a medium. So he said that during his channeling, the cat came, this cat that I have here, and he said that there is a ghost of a cat here that is like scaring the real 3D cat.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So my friend said, yeah, I did a little ritual with like black cat hair and the this and the that. So now it should be totally ghost free.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
perfect. So you can really enjoy it. Huh. I've been wondering what's the mission of Kelly, and I've asked her many times, but I'd love to know.
What's my mission?
Yeah, what's your mission? What are you up in here in this?
Why am I here?
Yeah, in this collective reality.
You know what? Like a part of me, like the anarchist part of me wants to say I don't fucking know. Like why am I? Sometimes I look at the sky and I'm like, you know, maybe I don't even want to be here. I've had thoughts where I'm like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. But then, you know, I told you like last time I saw you that I had like a health scare where I had like brain scans done and stuff, and turned out I was fine. But it took me like 2 weeks of kind of like sitting here like grilling, like waiting for my results, you know. And then I realized like I've been fucking ungrateful. I'm gonna make every effort that I can to be grateful. I'm gonna wake up every day and like stop whining because I have a glorious life. People around me are healthy. Friends are great. We do what we love for a living, you know. But the main thing I got like until you're healthy, you really like. There's absolutely nothing to complain about. But now to go to the other side, what is my mission in life? I had this dream about me once, or myself once, where there was like an energy grid, or like it looked like a fishnet, and I saw that there was like some of the parts had gotten black, so I was taking the black parts out and I was putting the white parts in. So I'm a light worker, like so many, all the moon children basically, they're all light workers. So I don't know if it's a thing, if it's not a thing, but I'm here to heal, to raise vibration, to create beauty. I think beauty is healing, raising vibration. And also, at some point, I had like a really powerful understanding that I'm also here to reawaken the goddess culture in the modern world. Yeah.
Goddess culture.
Goddess
Do you
culture.
want to share a bit about it? I don't know.
Well, it's just like the deep feminine essence, like the deep feminine power, you know, the deep feminine appreciation of the feminine body and like what it means to be a woman, and like how we can, you know,
Be in harmony.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what, one thing I was thinking about, which is really funny, because you know, when you were interviewing me, all I was talking about how it's like so important to like be in pleasure all the time, and like
No.
to enjoy yourself and like this, right? We were talking about it like,
Yeah, but not all the time.
right, but just saying how you don't have to struggle
Yeah.
and like whatever. And then after that, I read some more books and I did some like listen to some more like neuroscientists and whatnot, and I realized that men and women are actually wired differently. Like you need to be stressed out.
Really?
Like you need to have a goal.
Yes.
And actually, yeah, and I actually realized, or I listened to this one neuroscientist that was super amazing that said that if you feel stressed out, if you feel uncomfortable, like you feel unhappy with where you are, it actually sets your brain up to expand more, or like to create new like neural pathways better, so that
So you can find solutions.
so you can find solutions. So stress in like good amounts, when it's not like your lifestyle and it makes you sick, actually expands you. And I think it's better for men than for women, because if men aren't like bringing home the bison,
Yes.
then they don't have, then they don't get that like testosterone that they need, you know. So they have to go and like fuck a lot of girls, do all of these things to like get the testosterone, because they're not like doing their purpose thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you continue, then
Yeah. I mean,
if you can.
find something you love, get good at it, or like, or kings. Kings, like a man who's a king, he takes care of his family, he takes care of his tribe, he takes care of the world, you know, like he has a lot on his plate. He doesn't have time to like sit on Instagram and like DM like randos, you know? So that's like the difference. He gets his testosterone from
The work
the
and
other
the act and
places.
the impacts
Yeah.
of the work.
impact of the world. Or how do you feel? How do you feel as a man in the world? How do you feel as a man in the modern world?
It's been changing a lot lately. I've understood that maybe in, let's say 3 to 6 months time, or 6 to 3 months is coming from back, that I understood I'm a man who needs to take care of the community, take care of the tribe, and take care of the room as well. So if you're going anywhere, you always check if everybody's happy, if everybody's doing great, if the vibe is great, if the music, lights, you're always like, okay, I'm here to create a space that will inspire other people in the spot. Because if you're not inspired, then you can't expand your consciousness. So that's my little journey.
It's really amazing. By the way, you guys watching, Thomas is only 28 years old, right? You're only 28 years old. That's crazy. And I see that how you're kind of like always like taking care of the room.
Yeah, but it's really lately. So
Right. Well, I
Because
just
we
met
know,
you like what, 3
yes.
months ago.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you've been the change. But yeah, I went to interview Kelly before the conference. Conference was in November. I had a pre-interview on October to understand what's the stories and ideas and thoughts that I would love to know in life. And then I was in the deepest shit for I don't know, many years, and because I messed up completely, and then I was
And
like,
we met at your vegan restaurant.
yes.
Thomas actually
That was
has
the
a
reason as
really
well.
amazing vegan restaurant. Oh, that was
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
reason
I
of
was-
your pain.
I was in debt and all these communication problems, etc. And then I interviewed, and then she was asking me again, like, how are you doing? And I was like, after this honest, pure, loving conversation, I can't lie to you. And then I told, like, deeply what I'm feeling and how I'm feeling. Usually I'm not spreading it like, oh, I'm feeling that bad. But then I was like, oh, I need to share if you ask me. And that's one of the key elements here. If you can truly ask that someone really wants to share, not just like, oh, how are you doing? Oh, okay, I'm going. But like really looking it deep in the eye, and really ask and are willing to give energy to listen. And that's what you were doing for me. I felt like somebody's really taking like listening of this thought, and really like empathy. I felt like, okay, and then she shared like some 3-4 wisdom splashes on me, and I was like, oh, I'm healed, I'm done. And then this was kind of this lights that you were sharing to me, and I was like, wow. Because the story, I'll give you, I will finish up the story.
No, go.
The topic of this conference was about how to find your power. In Estonia there's a word vägi. It's a little different than...
Vägi?
Yeah.
Most children know what vägi
Oh,
is.
really?
Because I had a character named Vägi in a music video.
Ooh.
So I wanted to just make her like a woman.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the word.
That's a good word, right?
Yes.
In Estonian.
And then the question was how to find the vägi.
How to
the
find your
power.
vägi.
And then
But
I asked...
sorry to interrupt
Yeah,
you.
no.
Almost vägi is a little bit different than power.
Yeah, it is.
Because with power you have to add inner power, right?
Okay. Yes,
when you say in
true.
English, you have to say inner power, because you can't say I want power.
Yes.
But in Estonian, when you say I want vägi, that like
It's always
doesn't directly corresponds to like God and to your own body, and like it's not like a frivolous I want to rule over everybody type of thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I asked many questions from her, and then she answered. And after the small session in the end, I found Maggie. And I was like, wow, this is so simple. Just ask some questions, and then you guys, a splash. Because we are all mirroring each other, and that's the way we are interacting with the world.
And I had a really interesting story with you actually. Because you know I struggle with sometimes I feel like I overgive, and I've actually in my life previously like I've let a lot of people in that in the end turned out didn't really deserve to be let in, you know, and I've just the past few years for me I've really been kind of like focusing on who do I let in, where do I put my energy, what relationships do I nourish, what relationships do I let like fall away, you know, where do I, you know, how do I show up? And then you came over with like 2 of your friends, and before you guys came over, I was like, I should probably order some. Okay, they're all vegan. Okay, I'm gonna get some like vegan sushi. Because for me, like I like grand things. You know what I mean? Like I don't like little anything. And like whatever I do in life, I only have like the one gear too, which is like hard.
Full on.
So when I do career, then I'll do the career. When I do my relationship, then I'll do the relationship. When I do like, you know, everything for me is like, I don't know, I'm a passionate person, you know? So it's like, when you guys were coming over and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like make it really nice, and then I was like, I had like a voice in me that said, no, like stop giving so much to like, you don't even know these people, like stop giving. And then I was like, I had this internal like struggle, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna show up, like kindness is something that I value, like it's in my top 3 that I value in people, and like truly deeply kind people, it's not a very large percent of the people. But I don't also want to make that generalization, because maybe it's just my maybe there's something in me that still isn't that unconditionally kind, you know, that this is reflected back to me. But I had this moment of like struggle where I was like, oh, I'm gonna go all out, and then I was like, I don't even know these people, maybe I need to stop going all out for everybody. And then I was like, no, I'm still gonna be me. I'm gonna go all out no matter what this thing reflects, because this is what I believe in, this is the kind of people that I want to be around, this is the kind of people that I admire, so I'm gonna like be that. And then you guys came over with like just bags of food and like gifts and like the most amazing vibe, and it showed me like I was honestly, when you guys left, I danced alone here for like an hour, and I felt such a high vibe, and I was like, never stop showing up to your fullest potential, no matter what the world is reflecting, because no matter like what the glitch is in there, ultimately how you show up is how you will be shown up too.
Absolutely, because
right?
we are the creators. Thank you for this feedback.
Oh, thank you. What do you think of that? How do you function in the world? Because from what I understand, you kind of like
I went to.
you are known in your friends to be like a very, very, very giving.
Yeah, because I went to Burning Man. Hello. If you've been to Burning Man 3 times, Africa Burn 3 times, Estonian Burn events, I don't know numbers, then what's gonna happen is that you only want to give because you've given so much of love, of gifts, of attention, of time, of learnings, feedback, mirroring, everything. It's just very intense experience. And after my first event in Africa, I could say I was a little different man, but then when it's Burning Man, feeling like 10 days being on spot, and really like there is no money on spot, everything is like given so like deeply that the gifting over there is without waiting any return. So if I'm giving you the best gift, you don't have to like, oh, maybe I have a candy.
Maybe I have some posters.
Yeah, posters or something like. No, it just came, and it's so beautiful. So that's why I think I've changed, and over time I understood that my mission is to share this great, being grateful and being giving in service person. And this is, I hope, my reflection to the world and inspiring and being inspiration for the others. So, yeah.
There's this saying, kings rule by serving. So like I now judge people, like especially men, by the way they serve, how much humility they have, how do they take care of everything surrounding them. Yeah.
Thanks for reflecting.
Servitude.
Yes.
And I think maybe the same for a woman, right? Like,
absolutely.
Like
yes.
when you just like have this open heart and you just like love everything and everybody, that's like the most beautiful energy, right? Or I mean, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Yes.
Of course, some people are looking for different things, but
yeah,
for me at least.
But if you're giving, then this is it's such a deep feeling of making happiness to the world. It's a lot of times it's spontaneous, the gift. So you don't know that it's coming. Maybe Christmas, you know, but you don't know what's inside the box. So it's a different feeling that you're sharing to the world, and it's like spreading. I got this. I have this few dots over here because of this stress, maybe like you said. Yeah, and then a friend of mine, Kadri, made like this. How to say, oil mix together, so I can have this stuff on, this oil on, and it was named On Spot. And then when I got it, it was on spot because I was touching this, and she was like, "Oh, I have a gift for you," and then it's like, poof. So that was just a good example of how we can really take care of each other and notice, and if we have capabilities, if we have the, let's say, the inner, because. If you're giving, you need to be full yourself as well. So before sharing, you need to have the capability of that your inner Baki is overflowing, and that's called abundance. That can spread the world.
I have some thoughts about what you're saying. So funny because I was just I told you I have this spiritual teacher in the south of Estonia who I work with, and. I was just, Moon Babies, I was finally interviewing Hilla, because in August I asked all the Moon children to ask questions, and I was just gonna kind of like give them the privilege to work with my spiritual teacher a little bit, who actually only speaks Estonian, right? So I'm gonna have to translate the videos and whatever. But I just interviewed her for an hour, 2 days ago. And she was saying, and I've actually experienced that too, that sometimes you start giving and then you start feeling as you give. Like let's say you need, like whatever you need in your life, you start giving. Let's say and I practiced that during some difficult times in my life where I felt like I needed love. So I started giving love. I started having like friends over. I started nourishing them. Or when I feel like I need nourishing, I need nurturing, I'd start having friends over and I started nourishing them, nurturing, cooking for them. And it kind of like cultivated that energy in me too. So it kind of like goes both ways. But I guess in that sense, the giving does need to be unconditional, because otherwise you were already depleted and now you're feeling even more depleted. But just to kind of like cultivate that energy and also to send the signal to the universe that you are full. And when you're giving, it means I have plenty. Because if you didn't have plenty, you wouldn't be giving. So it's like the more you're giving, the more you're like, and throughout the years, like since I was 20 years old or whatever, I used to do this crazy thing. Now I don't do it anymore. But when somebody used to tell me, oh, I like your bag, then I'd be like, take it. And I take all my shit out, and I would practice giving and like detachment of material things, you know. So, but now I'm like, bitch, no, because now I'm a minimalist. So I only have like 5 things, and like they're good things, and like hard to find, and it's like yeah. But that's when I just used to have like a lot of crap, you know.
On the street, somebody's like, I like your shoes, and you're like, woo, take my shoes.
Yeah. Somebody's asking inner growth, and Carla Forster asking inner growth and outer growth. What's the difference?
There is no difference, I think. Inner growth is outer growth reflection, so maybe it's the only difference is that outer reflection will come a little bit later than inner growth, because inner growth, but maybe it's a reflection and you can't really feel it inside before you have seen it outside, because you're visualizing, you're hearing, you're tasting. That's how you interact with the world. But telepathically, you can do everything on spot on time.
But don't you think that when you're always waiting for things to show up on the outside, you're always going to be dependent on the outside? And as the outside fluctuates, because it does, you will have success, you will have failure, you will have great moments, you will have shit moments, you will have this. And if you're always looking for that, like, or at least this is a big thing that I've experienced in my life, that we're always like, that we were also talking about failure and like whatever. When you're always like, if I as an artist was always looking for an applause, I would have quit music before I even started making it, right? Because there's just like critics and haters and shit talkers and this and that. So it's like, at some point it wasn't even like a luxury for me to kind of distance myself from anything and just go here and be like, okay, this is this suit here, this meat suit vehicle thing, you know, that I'm gonna be in what, like average 80 years, something for women, you know, like what is this thing gonna do in here, you know? And now actually there are some moments when I'm like in the Moon Temple, when I live there in the south, you know, in the nature. I have had moments of clarity and connection where I have felt that I don't even have to go out of the forest to like achieve anything, because I can, if I can achieve it internally, and not even it as a thing, but if I can achieve like the harmony and the kind of like feeling of abundance, feeling of success, feeling of pleasure over what I do, if I can achieve it internally, I feel like I can manipulate the outside reality, or it will kind of like start reflecting back, you know, just like these moments of power, like sometimes.
Well, I guess that you are in the nature is the best part of your inner world, so you can be out of plug, and you can be really present.
Yeah. I mean, but I have shit times in the nature too.
Okay.
You know, I have hard times in the nature too. But I think nature definitely helps to connect. But it goes both ways, you know, because you're also forced to look at your shit in the nature. Here in the city, I don't have to look at my shit. Even when I sit in this apartment and I look out the window, there's information coming. There are like airwaves going. There's frequencies going through the air where I'm not going as deep in here. When I go there, can't escape anywhere. I'm completely aware of all my thoughts, and not all of them are great, you know.
Yeah, but that's the part of growth.
Yeah,
Of
no, it's great.
Yeah.
And the shadow work, and it's just life, you know. And now it's like when people, for me, people who know their darkness are, people who know their darkness, for me, are much more enlightened than the people who are light.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you're just escaping, in my opinion. But you know,
Yeah.
no, no.
Completely.
Like if, for me, if you haven't done your shadow work, you are not enlightened. If you don't know like the darkest, fucking gnarliest, disgusting, hard to admit, embarrassing shit about yourself, then you're not woke.
Yeah, but how? Yeah, okay. Coming to the woke, but how you understand that now? It's the this is the hardest point. This is the on-spot black moment, or on-spot this.
What do you mean? How do you?
Like the shadow work you've done. How do you?
How do you know that you're doing
Yes,
the shadow work?
this one, yeah, probably as well. But how do you know that this is the deepest? Let's say.
You do never know if this is the
exactly,
deepest.
yeah.
That's the thing. And it's like so many of my spiritual friends, and you know, I'm so lucky because I have so many people around me right now that are doing so much work on themselves, you know. And sometimes they just like so frustrated because they're like, I'm doing all this work and I still have these really dark times. And it's like, you know, wake up crying 2 months in a row. It's like, what do I do? I've done all this work. And it's just like, it will never be over, you know. And there's this really amazing teacher, Abraham. She's like, her student wrote The Secret. She's like the manifestation, like, teacher in the world. So I've studied her for years, and every time I look at her again or listen to her stuff again, it's like another layer of it unfolds as you evolve yourself, like your awareness, you're more able to understand. And she says, you will never get it done and you can never get it wrong as you're on the journey. It will never be over. It'll be over when you're dead.
Well, what happens?
And then we don't know. We haven't found the consensus on that. We don't have scientific evidence.
Or we don't need to find a consensus. Everybody can wake up in a different planet, a different dimension. And,
I mean, do you think at some point we will though?
Sorry?
Do you think at some point we will find consensus? Do you think things will reveal themselves to our species? Or do we need a great mystery?
Yeah, that's a very deep question.
Yeah.
Do we need a deep mystery?
Yeah, I mean, we could just, that's a fucking rabbit hole. Yeah, okay. Next.
We're done with this. But we were speaking before about the woke up people. What do you mean? What is a woke up? What's the criteria?
What would be the definition of someone who's woke?
Yes, exactly.
What do I judge? What do I judge someone or their level of awareness by? In everyday life, I actually judge it by very, very little things. For example, if someone is talking shit about their friends.
Oh yeah.
For me, like that's okay. Like we're not gonna be friends because I'm not gonna invest in that.
Yes.
You know, just these little things. And I was talking to my spiritual teacher these few days ago. She was saying, you know, because some MoonChild had asked that question: can you evolve more alone, in like solitude, celibacy, all of these things, or in relationships? And my teacher, who some of our views like differ. Of course, we're different people. You know, she's also Christian. Yeah, but she says you can't evolve alone. You only evolve with other people because that's the practice.
Yes.
So she said, once you cannot get angry at anybody, never feel like you need to forgive anybody because there's nothing to forgive. These kinds of things.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. So she says
forgiveness?
just look at your relationships. If your relationships are great, you are evolved. If your relationships are shit, you're not evolved.
Yeah, because it's an instant mirror that you're reflecting.
That's what she thinks, at least.
Yeah.
But I judge by little things like who I allow into my life, you know. So like, Do you gossip? Out. Do you cheat on your partner? Out. You fuck guys who are married? Get the fuck out of here. Like, all of these things, you know? So it's like, for me, it's just like values.
But these are like like actions, but about the person itself.
But it's not actions. It's integrity.
Okay, it's both ways. Okay. But I'm just thinking, if the mindset, is there anything else you would add up? What's the book of person mindset? So forgiveness is something you would definitely agree on?
Well, I'm just saying, if I just meet you and I have an hour-long conversation, what things am I picking up on? You know? So like how do I decide? Like, if you're just complaining the whole time, you can't, I wouldn't say that I judge by that either, because I don't know what you're going through, right? But just like, I mean, and then who am I to judge?
Yes.
So it's like a hard question in that sense too, you know? I just like know what my values are and what I want to align with in my life and what inspires me and what kind of like inspires me to be the best version of myself. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say gratitude definitely is something that I.
But that's a practice.
Yeah, but if the person is not practicing it,
If they're not practicing.
Yeah, then she's not awake because she doesn't know the secret. So yeah, please take a look of the secret of gratitude, and you definitely understand. That's one way of understanding that. But that's my perspective.
Yeah. Okay. True. I would say, for me, someone who's not doing any work on themselves is totally asleep. And also just the victim consciousness, like believing that the world is happening to you. To me, somebody who is evolved understands, and who knows, maybe in 3 years we'll be like, look back at that conversation, you know, that's so basic.
That's definitely gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
That means doing something.
How much trust you have in yourself? Absolutely.
I think someone who's woke takes responsibility for their own life experience, and also understand that they are the creator of their own life, co-creator, and are a deliberate creator. And I think I told you that story too. One of my friends who's gonna come tonight, her mom died, and she in like 2 days, she wallowed in 2 days, and her mom died all of a sudden. And her mom was young. So she wallowed and cried for 2 days, and then she started practicing gratitude. She's like, and then I was like, okay, enough. I'm going to get into my heart, I'm going to open up, and I'm going to start practicing gratitude. And she started practicing gratitude. She said people started calling. Some random woman at like her yoga class or something was calling saying, I have some money left over and I just had an urge to send it to you.
Wow.
It's just people started like giving to her, and she called me and she's like, it's unbelievable. So this is a person who is extremely advanced in like during the biggest adversity of a lifetime. Your mother died. That's the worst thing that can happen, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I believe
it's
so.
the worst thing. I mean, what else?
Depends. Someone
Well,
maybe doesn't
maybe
have
you
a
don't
mother.
have a
Yeah,
mother, or
exactly,
you're not
yes.
close, or like.
Just getting
So
stuck.
let's just say this is
I
the
think,
closest
yes,
person to
yes.
you. This is the person you
Who
came
give
out
yes.
of,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, absolutely.
And for her to turn it around in 2 days, and after that, she switched herself, going through her hardest time in her life. I have never heard her complain about this. I have not seen her break down, which is not a bad thing to do. Like, you have to read your emotions. You want to cry in bed for 2 years, that's fine. But just to see the mastery of the mind and the understanding of the bigger picture and the kind of the nature of life was just so impressive. And like just those moments just make me like, wow, I'm just surrounded by angels, you know? So.
We are surrounded by angels.
We are,
Definitely.
and all of you.
Yes.
Like these, and you know what? I'm gonna just say that because I'm not gonna be able to put into those interviews with Hilla. That's the name of my teacher. Thank you. Cheers.
36.
36. My spiritual teacher was so impressed with MoonChild's questions. She was like, these were really good questions, and I was like, yeah, I know these guys are advanced as fuck.
And that's just fucked. In Estonia, it doesn't sound that good, but
You
I
can't
know in
translate.
English, yes, I know in English it sounds really
Yeah.
good. So.
That's why I like being bilingual,
Yeah.
because there's just things that you can't say in English, there are things that you can't say in Estonian.
Mm.
One word, maybe I've said that, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but one word in Estonian that I really missed when I lived in America is ei viitsi.
Ei viitsi.
Ei viitsi.
It's like
Ei
don't bother.
viitsi. Like,
Yeah.
I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
But it's almost not, but it's not offensive. Oh, ei viitsi.
Yeah.
It means, you know, I'm just a little bit tired,
Yeah.
but I also kind of don't feel like it. Oh, üldse.
Yeah. Yes.
And your friend would be like, okay, they don't need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
You just get it. It's
Yeah.
probably, it's more like I'm Netflix and chilling.
Yeah.
I just might have a little like strep throat. No, you can't say that.
Yeah.
This driver was like, Corona. Okay, we have 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. All right. Is there any question from the audience that would you like to?
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna answer a few of these
Mhm,
questions
yes.
that are seem to be popular. And more children are asking about the new music.
Ooh, that was my next question. So
Really?
yes, I was telepathically, of course, in an interviewer kind of way here, but today we're doing together. I was thinking, okay, what's my next big topic? And I'm thinking that we are in telepathically in the same way. Honestly.
So it's happening.
Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, really, yeah. I've done a lot of like different kind of creation than I've ever done before, and this year actually. And a lot of people have felt like, you know, this whole time in the world has been difficult, and it also has been for me, but it also has been really kind of like transformative. I feel like there's just interesting like frequencies available.
Yeah.
And yeah, I am very, very close to sharing some new stuff with you guys, and it's gonna be very different from what I've done before, which is what I always.
Yes.
I don't even try to do it, but I just change so much. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be. It's gonna be soon. And then people are also asking about the book in English.
Oh yeah, the book.
The book.
Remind her.
No,
Many
because
times.
I did it in Estonian. I think you missed it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I did this like women's goddess empowerment
Yeah, but when
book
was
in
it?
Estonian. It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but now.
Yeah,
2 years has
but now
passed.
I know now they want it in English.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, it's just like I have limited resources. You know,
Like time-wise.
time-wise, energy-wise, because I don't just do things like
Yeah,
I
but then-
do it.
But then you can do it in different format too. You can do it in audiobook.
No, I still want to do it in English. I actually
Yes.
wrote it in 2 languages, but now I feel like I've already evolved so much from that 2 years ago that if I did it in English, I kind of want to like rewrite it
Yes,
and
yes.
create like extra content and like maybe put it online. So that would be like 2-3 months of work for me. And
Can you give it to her?
well, and now
Does she want?
and now I'm already feeling like I'm not even in that place anymore. You know, I'm not like some wounded woman over here. You know, like crying over some guy who don't deserve it.
Yes, yes.
It's like, you know, so now I'm already like, yeah, I kind of want to write a new book. You know, and maybe write it in English. So it is still on my list, but it's low on the list. And music is number 1, and then there are just like tons of other things. So I might get to it, but don't hate me if I don't.
No, we don't hate you. We
Yeah.
love you, definitely. A lot.
I love you a lot. What else we have? Okay, we have 7 minutes. Somebody says, yes, I recall our MySpace days.
MySpace days. what's that?
MySpace. Do you know what a MySpace is?
No.
You guys don't know what a MySpace is.
Oh,
Okay,
you know.
she knows what a MySpace is.
Tell
Wow,
me.
you were never on MySpace.
No.
But you're only... Oh yeah, fuck, you're 6 years younger than me. So yeah, you were not a teenager. You
I was
were
in
still
the,
playing
in
with
the rate.
cars.
No, I was playing in rate.e.
Great,
Yeah,
so you were going local.
Yeah, I'm
You
going
were going to local,
Yeah.
yes. You were going local.
And then I went to Orkut, where the only Brazilian guy taking over the Estonian girls. And then I'm like,
Oh
Brazilian guys.
yeah.
Yeah. And then went to Facebook, so.
MySpace was kind of like before Facebook, but
Yeah.
it was actually MySpace was kind of like a bit of an beginning for me. Because MySpace, it was like a social media platform, and what I started doing over there is I started blogging about, you know, just kind of like, it was a very emo blogging, so it was all about like Paris Hilton and all this shit sucks, and why is the society worshipping all of that, and like, you know, all that type of thing. And then so many of these moon children, some of them are still here, actually a lot of them are still here. And yeah,
started growing with
they
you
connected. So I was actually kind of blogging. My thing was kind of growing blogging before it was growing with music. And that's why I want to, also one thing that I want to say to all the young artists out there, Walking on Air was on MySpace for like 3 years with like 2 plays a day. Then my A&R at the record label and we just decided we'll just put it online, but it wasn't really released, but it was like 2 plays a day. And then I started like answering to all the Moon Children on MySpace and whatever. And by the way, Moon Children, when I called that community, the fans, like, you know, now everybody has like, oh, they have this like fan base and they have these like names for their fan base. No one was doing that. So it was just like a feeling. I was like, okay, call them Moon Children. It was like, I don't even know, 15 years ago or something. And then, you know, it grew because our community grew. And then somebody like at the label took notice and there was like, okay, here's like $150,000, make that video for Walking on Air. Wow. And like, let's go, like, let's put some money into it. And then it went big. So how good your art is has nothing to do with how it's received. That's why it's so important to keep it about how good your art is, you know? Because this other thing outside, it comes and goes, and it's out of your control, so, yeah.
Totally agree. I had this quick story. I was in LA 5 years ago, and then I went to Uber, and I was like, she's so awesome, like, playing this, and then she put her Bluetooth, and we were like, yeah, really. I think the Blossom wasn't out, but Walking on Air was definitely in the list, and I was like, wow, in LA, but then I understood that, yeah, maybe you had the connection with LA that big.
Yeah, I mean, it was in the States. It was when it came out, it was like the most downloaded song on iTunes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know.
What year was it?
I think it was 2008. Or was it 2011?
Oh, was
Hey, no, it was 2008 or something. Yeah.
And now we're getting some new music on. Yeah.
No, I'm always getting the new music, but it's just like sometimes there isn't like a corporation behind it that like makes it. And also I felt like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking spill the beans because who cares? I felt like at some point when I moved to the forest and when my message got really conscious, some unconscious channels that are spreading specific messages stopped spreading my message.
Wow.
So I felt like a total different thing, where it's like, wow, like they're kind of like not wanting to spread that, because my message was like, don't consume this shit, like take care of the content you put in your mind, like live in the nature, get like off the grid. Like if I was in the States right now, and a lot of things I can't even say here on YouTube because my channel will be deleted. Like my reach on like even Instagram is like limited drastically.
So definitely, if Curly's posts are up, like them, comment them, so it will
subscribe,
spread.
subscribe, put that little like bell notification and say like all posts, so whenever you get. I'm also about to launch like a email list.
Oh nice.
So yeah, I'm gonna be like prepared for everything. And again, it comes down to that thing. Your self-value cannot be dependent on if someone else is clapping out there or whatever, because all that shit's so corrupted. Like you don't want to base your worth on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's important.
Very good.
1 more minute.
So what do you have to say to the world? What's your?
I can actually put a fist in my mouth. I know it's bad.
No, it's not bad because it's a beautiful sound that's
Depending
coming out
on the
there.
situation.
Yes, it's a very deep, beautiful sound.
But what I want to do, you know what I decided these past few days when I was in the forest? I was in the forest and I found myself complaining. And I was like, what? Like what? And I was like, bitch, stop complaining. So I think my goal for this year, and just like in life moving forward, and there needs to be another different blog post about it because it's a deep topic. I'm gonna, instead of saying what I don't like, You know, like today I was thinking, you know, I'm maybe gonna make a list for this video chat to say, you know, I'm not gonna allow this in my life, I'm not gonna allow this in my life, not gonna allow this in my life, blah blah blah. I'm gonna say, oh, amazing friends, gratitude, creativity, harmony. Stop worrying about what you don't want. Start thinking about embracing, embodying the things, like all the deliciousness that is available to us in this world, and like creativity and access, magic. 8 billion people who, like, a lot of are really fucking incredible, beautiful, and just to experience yourself through them, to experience yourself through community and through creativity and all of these things. So stop saying no and start saying yes. And instead of fighting the old, I'm going to concentrate on building the new. So, but that's a lot of training and like creating new neural pathways, but that's my goal. So, and that's what I wish for all of you. So,
thanks a lot for joining this ride.
Yeah, thanks a lot, you guys. It means a lot to me because, you know, as I said yesterday when I was promoting this video chat, I said, like, upset that nobody did anything special for me. And then I switched off my phone, of course, the whole day because I'm like, have been like love avoidant or whatever. And now this year I was like, fuck it. No more of that. Like, I'm gonna celebrate life. I'm gonna dress up, put on the red shoes, and like do the thing and be surrounded by like a small group of people that I love the most, and that's that.
Wow, that's
Celebrate.
That's a gift that you shared with us today, with your stories
and thank you.
Loving attitude. And, thank you very much for joining this ride. It was a
thank you for joining.
beautiful journey, and we'll have many great time together in the later future as well.
We'll do more.
Yes, thanks so much.
Okay, more babies.
Thank you.
Integrity, love, unity.